The gray morning sky over Chicago was still half asleep when Emma Johnson woke to the sound of her small alarm clock. She turned it off quickly so the soft ringing would not wake her 3-year-old daughter, Lily. The little girl lay curled beneath a blanket decorated with tiny stars, her chest rising and falling in a slow, peaceful rhythm. For a moment, Emma stood beside the bed, just watching. Lily's hair was a tumble of light brown curls and her thumb rested against her cheek. Emma felt her heart swell the way it always did when she looked at her child. Today mattered more than most days. Emma had an interview with a well-known design firm in the heart of the city. She had been searching for a stable, full-time job for months, taking short projects and late shifts at a neighborhood cafe to keep rent paid. This interview was a chance for something bigger: steady pay, benefits, a future she could count on. She tiptoed to the tiny kitchen of their one-bedroom apartment. The walls were pale yellow, the color chosen by a landlord years ago, but Emma had taped a few of Lily's bright crayon drawings near the fridge. They made the space feel warmer. She brewed coffee and tried to steady her thoughts. Her suit, a navy jacket with matching pants, hung neatly on a chair. She had ironed it the night before until not a single wrinkle showed. As she buttered toast, Emma went over the questions she had practiced. "Tell us about yourself," she whispered under her breath. "Describe a challenge you overcame." She wanted every answer to sound confident, even though nerves buzzed in her chest like a quiet storm. The sound of soft footsteps pulled her from her thoughts. Lily appeared, holding her stuffed bunny by one floppy ear. "Morning, Mama," she said with a sleepy smile. Emma crouched to hug her. "Good morning, sunshine. Did you sleep well?" Lily nodded and rubbed her eyes. "Can I have cereal?" "Of course," Emma said, pouring a small bowl and adding a splash of milk. While Lily ate, Emma checked her phone. There was a new message from the babysitter, Carla. Her heart sank as she read, "Emma, I'm so sorry. I woke up with a fever. I can't watch Lily today." For a long moment, Emma stared at the screen. The interview was in 3 hours. She had no family nearby, her parents lived several states away and her sister was traveling for work. She thought about calling a neighbor, but most had left for their own jobs. Emma's first instinct was to cancel the interview. But a quiet voice inside told her she could not. This opportunity meant too much. She took a deep breath and looked at Lily, who was happily making little boats out of cereal pieces. "Sweetheart," Emma said gently, "Mama has an important meeting today. Would you like to come with me? You can sit in a big waiting room with your toys." Lily's eyes brightened. "Can I bring my bunny?" "Yes, you can bring Bunny," Emma replied with a small, nervous smile. She packed a small bag with snacks, a juice box, a picture book, and a few crayons. She added a soft blanket, just in case Lily wanted to nap. By 8:30, they were out the door. The air outside was cool and smelled faintly of rain. Emma balanced her purse, a folder of resumes, and Lily's backpack as they made their way to the train. She reminded herself to stay calm. The ride downtown felt longer than usual. Commuters filled the seats, their faces hidden behind newspapers or glowing phone screens. Lily leaned against Emma's arm, humming a quiet tune. Emma watched the city pass by through the train window: brick buildings, coffee shops opening for the morning rush, children waiting for school buses. She tried to rehearse her answers in her head, but every thought kept circling back to one worry: will Lily stay quiet? Will they think I am unprofessional for bringing her? When they stepped off the train, the city's tall buildings stretched toward a brightening sky. Emma held Lily's small hand tightly as they walked the few blocks to the design firm's office. The building was sleek and modern, with glass doors that reflected the busy street. Emma paused, straightened her jacket, and brushed a curl from Lily's forehead. Inside the lobby, everything looked bright and polished, shining marble floors, a wide front desk, soft music playing in the background. A friendly receptionist with neat glasses greeted them. "Good morning. How can I help you?" "I have an interview with Mr. Williams," Emma said, trying to keep her voice steady. "This is my daughter, Lily. Would it be all right if she sits here with her book while I'm inside?" The receptionist smiled warmly. "Of course. We have a small seating area with a few children's magazines. I'll keep an eye on her." Relief washed over Emma. She knelt beside Lily. "Sweetheart, you can color here while Mama talks to some nice people. I'll be back very soon. Be my brave girl, okay?" Lily nodded seriously and hugged her bunny. Emma followed an assistant through a hallway lined with framed artwork. Her heart beat faster with every step. She thought of the late nights she had spent updating her portfolio, the mornings when she woke before sunrise to practice her answers. This moment could change everything. The interview room was bright and filled with sunlight from tall windows. 3 people sat at a long table: Mr. Williams, the hiring manager, a woman named Karen, and a young designer named Paul. They each offered polite smiles. "Good morning, Miss Johnson," Mr. Williams said, standing to shake her hand. "Please, have a seat." Emma took a deep breath and thanked them for the opportunity. The first few questions came smoothly. They asked about her past projects, her design style, and how she worked under pressure. Emma spoke clearly, describing her work on a community mural and a small branding project she had completed for a local bakery. For a brief time, she forgot her worries. She even felt a small spark of excitement as Karen nodded in approval and Paul jotted notes. Then, faintly, a sound drifted in from the hallway, a small whimper, soft but unmistakable. Emma's chest tightened. She tried to keep her eyes on Mr. Williams as he asked another question about teamwork, but the whimper turned into a louder call: "Mama? Mama?" Emma's hands trembled slightly. She forced a smile and answered the question, but the sound grew closer. She could hear Lily's voice clearly now. Karen glanced toward the door. Paul raised his eyebrows. Mr. Williams paused mid-sentence, a polite but unmistakable frown crossing his face. "I'm terribly sorry," Emma said quickly. "That's my daughter." The babysitter cancelled and Mr. Williams held up a hand, his tone calm but firm. "Perhaps we should pause here. It sounds like this might not be the right time for the interview." The words struck Emma like a sudden cold wind. She felt heat rush to her face. I understand," she whispered. She gathered her folder and stood, every movement heavy with disappointment. The door opened before she could reach it, and there was Lily, cheeks pink, clutching her bunny. "Mama," Lily said, eyes wide, "I couldn't find you." Emma knelt, hugging her tightly. "I'm here, sweetheart." Mr. Williams cleared his throat. "Miss Johnson, I think it would be best if we reschedule." His voice was not unkind, but it carried finality. Emma nodded, unable to speak. She thanked them for their time, though her throat felt tight, and walked out with Lily in her arms. The door closed softly behind them, but to Emma it sounded like a heavy gate locking shut. As they left the bright lobby and stepped back into the bustling city street, a cool breeze lifted the edges of her jacket. Lily rested her head on Emma's shoulder. "Mama, are you mad?" "No, my love," Emma whispered, though her voice trembled. "I'm not mad." But as she walked toward the train station, heart heavy and mind clouded, she wondered if the world would ever stop punishing her for the simple fact that she was both a mother and a dreamer. The late morning sun had climbed higher by the time Emma Johnson reached the train platform with her daughter, Lily. The wind along the tracks carried the scent of coffee and rain. People hurried past with briefcases and paper cups, barely noticing the young mother holding a small child close to her chest. Emma kept her face calm for Lily's sake, but inside she felt heavy, like a stone sinking through water. She balanced Lily on one hip and clutched the folder of resumes she had worked on for weeks. It felt useless now, pages of careful effort for an interview that ended before it truly began. As the train approached, a low rumble filled the station. Emma stepped aboard and found 2 empty seats by the window. She placed Lily next to her and set the folder on her lap. The city slid by in flashes of brick buildings and wet sidewalks. Lily leaned against her mother's arm, holding her stuffed bunny. "Mama, are you sad?" she asked in a soft voice. Emma forced a small smile. "I'm okay, sweetheart. Just a little tired." But Lily tilted her head, studying her mother's face with serious eyes. "Your eyes look wet." Emma brushed a strand of hair from Lily's forehead. "Sometimes eyes get wet when people think a lot," she said. "It's nothing you need to worry about." Lily nodded, satisfied for now, and began humming a tune from a cartoon they watched together. The sound was light and sweet, but it made Emma's chest tighten. She stared at her own reflection in the train window, the navy suit, the neat hair, the practiced smile that now felt brittle. Only 2 hours earlier, she had entered that bright office full of hope. She had believed that all her late nights, all the careful planning, would finally lead to something better. Instead, she had walked out with nothing but polite words and the echo of a door closing behind her. Emma thought of the look on Mr. Williams's face, kind, but firm. She knew he had not meant to hurt her. He was doing his job, protecting a professional space. But the memory of his words, "Perhaps we should pause here," still stung. The train rocked gently, and Emma's mind drifted back to the last 3 years. After Lily's father left when she was only a few months old, Emma had promised herself that her daughter would never feel less loved, never feel abandoned. She had worked early mornings at the cafe, taken freelance design projects at night, and stretched every dollar until it squeaked. Some days she felt strong. Other days, like today, the weight of responsibility felt endless. She remembered the excitement she once felt about design, the way color and shape could tell a story, the quiet thrill of creating something new. That spark was still inside her, but survival had forced it into the background. A conductor walked down the aisle, checking tickets. Emma handed hers over with a quiet "thank you," then looked down at Lily, who had started drawing shapes on the fogged window with her finger. Hearts, circles, wobbly stars. Emma whispered, almost to herself, "We'll be okay, baby girl." The train slowed at each stop, and passengers came and went. A woman in a green coat sat across from them and offered Lily a kind smile. Lily grinned back and held up her bunny as if to introduce him. The woman chuckled and waved. For a moment, Emma felt a small warmth, proof that strangers could still be gentle in a busy world. When they reached their neighborhood station, Emma took Lily's hand and stepped onto the platform. The clouds had thinned, letting shafts of sunlight spill across the cracked concrete. They walked the familiar route home, past the corner grocery where the owner always saved day-old bread for neighbors, past the playground where bright swings swayed in the wind. Inside their apartment, Emma helped Lily out of her jacket and set her bag on the small kitchen table. She hung her own suit jacket on the back of a chair. The navy fabric looked out of place in the modest room, as if it belonged to a different life. Lily climbed onto a stool. "Can we make pancakes?" she asked hopefully. Emma almost said no, pancakes were usually for weekends, and she was too tired to cook, but then she nodded. "Yes, we can." As they mixed the batter, Lily giggled when a small puff of flour landed on her nose. Emma laughed softly too, despite herself. The sound felt like a small thread stitching her heart back together. While the pancakes cooked, Emma's phone buzzed. A message from her sister, Claire, appeared on the screen. "How did it go today?" Emma hesitated, then typed back, "Not great. They asked me to reschedule." Lily got upset. A moment later, Claire replied, "I'm so sorry. But don't give up. Something better will come. Call me tonight." Emma set the phone aside and flipped the pancakes. The warm smell filled the apartment, wrapping them in comfort. After lunch, Lily settled on the couch with her bunny and a picture book. Emma sat at the small desk by the window, staring at her portfolio. She thought of sending more applications, of searching job sites again, but her hands felt heavy. She closed the folder and rested her forehead on her arms. The afternoon light slowly shifted across the floor. Outside, children played in the alley, their laughter floating up like music. Emma listened to the sound, wondering how she could stay strong enough to keep trying. Hours later, as evening arrived, Emma prepared a simple dinner of soup and bread. Lily helped stir the pot, serious about her task. After they ate, Emma gave her daughter a warm bath and read her favorite bedtime story. When Lily finally drifted to sleep, Emma sat by the window and looked out at the city lights. Tiny sparks of gold and white dotted the dark sky. She thought about what the interviewer might have seen, a woman who could not separate work and motherhood, someone unreliable. But she also thought about the truth. She was a mother who refused to give up, who showed up even when life made it hard. The memory of the receptionist's smile came back to her. The woman had been kind, even playful with Lily. Perhaps not everyone in that office viewed them as a problem. Emma wondered if the interviewers had noticed the little drawings Lily left on the corner of the receptionist's notepad, hearts and crooked stars just like the ones on the train window. Her phone buzzed again, this time a simple reminder about a freelance design job due in 2 days. Emma opened her laptop and began sketching ideas. The work steadied her mind, each line of color a small act of hope. Midnight passed quietly. Emma finally closed the computer and tiptoed to Lily's room. Her daughter slept peacefully, bunny tucked under her chin. Emma brushed a soft curl from Lily's forehead and whispered, "I promise we'll find our way." She returned to her own bed, the sounds of the city humming in the distance. Far away, in the tall glass building she had left that morning, her name still sat on a stack of papers on a polished desk. She did not know it yet, but something about her visit, the small voice calling Mama, the cheerful giggles that followed, had left a mark deeper than she could imagine. For now, though, Emma only felt the quiet ache of disappointment. She closed her eyes and listened to the rhythm of Lily's breathing through the thin wall. Each gentle sound reminded her why she kept moving forward, even when the world seemed to say no. And somewhere, hidden beneath the weight of worry, a faint spark of hope remained, like a tiny light that refused to go out. Morning light spilled through thin curtains, painting soft shapes across the small apartment. Emma Johnson woke before the alarm, her body already alert even though she had barely slept. She lay still for a moment, listening to the quiet rhythm of her daughter's breathing in the next room. The memory of yesterday, the sharp echo of a closing office door, the long train ride home still rested heavy in her chest. She turned to see the sky outside shift from gray to pale blue. Another day of searching, she thought. Another round of sending out resumes and hoping someone would answer. From the bedroom, a cheerful voice called, "Mama." Emma smiled despite the weight in her heart. She walked to Lily's room and found the little girl sitting up in bed with her stuffed bunny. "Good morning, sunshine," Emma said, kissing her forehead. "Can we go to the park today?" Lily asked, eyes bright. "Maybe later," Emma replied. "First, Mama has some work to do." After breakfast, simple toast and apples, they settled into their daily routine. Lily drew pictures at the small kitchen table while Emma opened her laptop. She checked her email inbox, half expecting nothing but spam. But there, among unread messages, was a note with a familiar company logo, Williams & Hart design. Her heart jumped. She clicked quickly. "Miss Johnson," the email began, "thank you for visiting our office yesterday. We would like to schedule a follow-up conversation at your earliest convenience." Emma stared at the screen, hardly believing the words. Why would they reach out after such an awkward interview? She reread the message twice, searching for a hidden explanation. "Mama, what's that?" Lily asked, peering at the laptop. "It's a letter," Emma said slowly. They want to talk to me again." Lily clapped her small hands. "Yay! You did it?" Emma hugged her, heart racing. "Maybe. We'll see." She typed a careful reply, thanking them and suggesting a time for the following morning. When she hit send, a strange mixture of hope and nervousness filled her. The rest of the day moved gently forward. Emma worked on a small freelance design project, sketching ideas for a local bakery's new sign. Lily colored beside her, sometimes leaning over to add a bright scribble of her own. Now and then Emma paused to watch her daughter's serious little face, amazed at how much joy one small child could carry. In the afternoon they walked to the nearby park. Autumn leaves rustled underfoot, and children's laughter drifted across the playground. Lily ran from slide to swing, her bunny tucked safely in her backpack. Emma sat on a bench, breathing in the crisp air. She tried not to think about the interview, but the email glowed in her mind like a small flame. When the sun began to set, they headed home. Emma cooked a simple dinner of pasta and vegetables. After Lily was asleep, she laid out her navy suit again, pressing the sleeves smooth. She rehearsed answers quietly, careful not to wake the child who was the center of her world. The next morning, Emma dressed with steady hands but a fast heartbeat. She chose a soft blue scarf to brighten her suit and tied her hair neatly. Lily, wearing a cheerful yellow sweater, helped pack her mother's folder. "Are we both going again?" Lily asked. "Not today, sweetheart," Emma said. "Our neighbor Mrs. Green will stay with you for a little while. She's excited to play games with you." Lily's face fell for a moment, then she nodded bravely. "Okay. But hurry back." "I will," Emma promised, hugging her tight. Mrs. Green, a kind retired teacher from down the hall, greeted them with a warm smile. "We'll make cookies," she said to Lily. "You'll hardly notice Mama is gone." Emma thanked her and hurried to the train. This time, she carried only her portfolio and a quiet determination. At the Williams & Hart office, the lobby looked as polished as before, but today Emma noticed something different. The receptionist, the same woman from 2 days earlier, smiled widely. "Welcome back, Miss Johnson. Lily not with you today." No, she's with a neighbor, Emma said, surprised. She's a sweetheart, the receptionist replied. Everyone talked about her after you left. Emma blinked. They talked about her. Oh yes, the woman said with a laugh. She made half the floor giggle with her little stories. Even Mr. Williams smiled, and he almost never does that before lunch. Emma felt warmth spread through her chest, though she wasn't sure what it meant. Moments later, she was led into a smaller conference room where Mr. Williams waited with Karen and Paul. Today their expressions seemed lighter, almost friendly. Miss Johnson, Mr. Williams began, thank you for returning on short notice. Thank you for inviting me, Emma replied, sitting tall despite her racing heart. Karen spoke first. After you left the other day, something unusual happened. Lily stayed in the lobby for a bit, yes. Emma nodded carefully. She made quite an impression, Karen continued with a smile. Her laughter carried through the office. People came out of their desks to see who was making the day brighter. It reminded us that creativity is about more than deadlines and serious meetings. It's about joy. Paul leaned forward. We even had a visiting client who said the atmosphere felt more alive than he'd ever seen it. He asked if we'd started a new wellness program. Emma's eyebrows lifted in surprise. Mr. Williams folded his hands. We realized something important. Design is about connection, and you brought that spirit with you even when things didn't go as planned. We'd like to offer you a position here. Full-time designer, flexible hours, with the option to work from home a few days a week. For a moment Emma could not find her voice. You're offering me the job. Yes, Mr. Williams said with a small smile. If you'll accept it? Emotion swelled in Emma's chest. She thought of late-night sketching while Lily slept, of the countless applications sent into silence. She thought of the train ride home when she believed every door had closed. I would be honored, she said, her voice steady despite the tears threatening to rise. Thank you. Karen extended her hand. Welcome to the team. When Emma left the building, the city looked brighter than she remembered. The sun caught on glass windows, turning them into sheets of light. She wanted to run, but she forced herself to walk calmly to the train. At home, Mrs. Green opened the door with a cheerful grin. Well? How did it go? Emma knelt beside Lily, who came racing to her. It went wonderfully, Emma said, hugging her daughter tight. Mama got the job. Lily squealed and bounced. Because I laughed. Emma laughed too, tears finally spilling. Yes, sweetheart. Your giggles helped more than you know. Mrs. Green clapped her hands. That's cause for celebration. How about those cookies, young lady? Later, as twilight colored the sky, Emma and Lily sat by the window with 2 warm cookies each. The city hummed quietly below. Emma felt a peace she had not known in years, a sense that the future was finally opening. She looked at her daughter, the small, bright soul who had turned a moment of embarrassment into unexpected grace. You are my good luck, Emma whispered. Lily leaned against her and said with simple certainty, we are a team. Emma kissed the top of her head. Always. Outside, lights flickered on across the skyline. Inside, mother and daughter shared a quiet joy that needed no grand words, only the soft sound of laughter proved that even the smallest voices can change the course of a life. The next week moved like a gentle but exciting tide in Emma Johnson's life. After months of small freelance work and constant worry, she finally had a steady job. Williams and Hart Design had sent her a formal offer the same evening she accepted in person, and she had read the letter again and again, as if making sure the words would not disappear overnight. Her start date came quickly. The evening before her first day, Emma prepared everything with careful hands. She laid out her navy suit once more, freshly pressed. She packed her worn but reliable leather bag with her sketchbook, pencils, and a slim lunchbox Lily had helped decorate with stickers. Every detail felt important, a quiet promise that she belonged in this new chapter. Lily sat cross-legged on the living room carpet, coloring a card with bright crayons. "This is for your desk," she said proudly. In crooked letters she had written "Go Mama" and surrounded it with hearts and stars. Emma hugged her daughter tightly. "I'll keep it where I can see it every day," she said, her voice soft with love. That night, Emma could barely sleep. Hope and nerves twined together in her mind. When morning came, she dressed quickly, kissed Lily's forehead, and walked her to Mrs. Green's apartment. The older neighbor, warm and steady as ever, promised another day of games and stories. "You just go and shine," Mrs. Green said with a wink. "We've got things covered here." The city air was cool and fresh as Emma rode the train downtown. She noticed details she had missed before, the sparkle of early sunlight on windows, the low hum of conversation between strangers, the way the buildings seemed to welcome her instead of closing in. For the first time in many months, her heart felt light. At the Williams and Hart office, the receptionist beamed when Emma stepped inside. "Good morning, Miss Johnson. Ready for your first day?" "I hope so," Emma said with a nervous laugh. "You'll do great," the woman replied, handing her a visitor badge until her permanent one was ready. "And by the way, people are still talking about your little girl. She brightened this place more than any of our new artwork." Emma felt warmth spread through her chest. "I'll tell her," she said. Karen met her in the lobby and guided her through the workspace. Sunlight poured across long tables where designers arranged sketches and samples. The room hummed with quiet energy, the soft sound of creativity at work. "This is your desk," Karen said, pointing to a bright corner near a wide window. "You'll have a great view of the river. And I hear you're good with color, perfect for the new branding project we're starting." Emma set her bag down, placing Lily's handmade card carefully against the small desk lamp. The crooked hearts and bold letters seemed to light the space more than the morning sun. By mid-morning, Emma was reviewing design briefs with Paul, the young designer she had met during the interview. He was quick with ideas but patient as she learned the company's style. "We like fresh thinking," Paul explained. "Don't be afraid to suggest something bold." Emma nodded, sketching as they spoke. She felt the familiar thrill of shapes forming under her pencil, the quiet magic of turning thoughts into color and line. For a few minutes, she forgot the months of struggle and simply enjoyed the work. Around noon, Karen stopped by with a smile. "A few of us are heading to the cafe downstairs. Want to join?" Emma hesitated. She had packed a simple sandwich to save money, but Karen's welcoming tone eased her worry. "I'd like that," she said. They shared warm soup and conversation about favorite artists and weekend plans. Emma found herself laughing, surprised by how quickly she felt at ease. Meanwhile, across town, Lily spent a happy day with Mrs. Green. They baked banana bread and built a cardboard fort in the living room. Mrs. Green later told Emma that Lily chatted proudly about her mama's new job. She kept saying, "My mama is a designer. She makes things beautiful," Mrs. Green reported with a chuckle when Emma returned that evening. Hearing those words filled Emma with quiet pride. She realized that her daughter saw her not only as a mother but as someone capable of shaping the world. The days soon settled into a gentle rhythm. Each morning Emma rode the train downtown, sometimes sketching ideas during the ride. Each afternoon she returned to the small apartment where Lily ran to greet her, arms wide, Bunny always in tow. They would share stories about their days, Lily's games and new drawings, Emma's design meetings and small victories. One evening, Emma brought home a packet of bright markers from the office supply closet, extras that no one needed. Lily's eyes lit up. "For me?" "For you," Emma said. "So you can keep making art too." Together they covered a large sheet of paper with swirls of color, side by side at the kitchen table. Emma marveled at her daughter's fearless use of bright shades, her instinct for beauty. 2 weeks later, Emma's first big assignment arrived, a complete branding refresh for a small music school. It was the kind of project she had dreamed of, playful, creative, full of possibilities. Paul and Karen both trusted her with major parts of the design, and Mr. Williams stopped by her desk one afternoon to compliment her early sketches. "I can already see the spirit of music in these lines," he said with a rare smile. "You're bringing the project to life." The words filled Emma with quiet confidence. But the real surprise came near the end of that day. As Emma packed her bag, the receptionist approached with a note. "Special delivery," she said, smiling. It was a small envelope decorated with stickers of stars and hearts. Inside was a short message in large, uneven letters: "Love you Mama, good job." Emma looked around in wonder. "How?" The receptionist laughed. "A very determined little girl insisted on giving this to you. Mrs. Green stopped by with her on their way to the library." Emma pressed the note to her heart, a sudden rush of gratitude welling inside her. That evening, Emma and Lily celebrated with homemade popcorn and a movie. As the credits rolled, Lily climbed onto her mother's lap and whispered, "I like that you go to work. But I like when you come home even more." Emma kissed her daughter's forehead. "I like coming home the most too," she said. "Because you're here." She thought about how far they had come in only a few weeks from the day of the failed interview, when disappointment had felt like a closed door, to this quiet moment of contentment. The path had not been easy, but it had led them to something better than she had dared to imagine. One Friday afternoon, the office held a casual gathering to celebrate the progress on the music school project. Snacks and soft music filled the open workspace. As Emma chatted with her new colleagues, Mr. Williams raised a small toast. "To fresh ideas and unexpected beginnings," he said. His eyes met Emma's briefly, and she felt a silent understanding pass between them, a recognition of how chance and courage had brought them all here. Karen leaned toward Emma and whispered, "You know, it all started with Lily's laughter. It reminded us that creativity isn't just about skill. It's about joy." Emma smiled, her heart full. She knew her daughter's giggles had done more than brighten an office, they had opened a door that might have stayed shut forever. That night, as Emma tucked Lily into bed, the little girl asked, "Do you like your new job, Mama?" "I love it," Emma said honestly. "But do you know what I love more?" "What?" Lily's eyes sparkled in the dim light. "Coming home to you." Lily giggled, that same bright sound that had changed everything. "Then we both win," she said sleepily. Emma sat for a while, watching her daughter drift into dreams. The city outside whispered with night sounds, but inside their small apartment there was only peace. Emma realized that success was not only the job or the paycheck. It was this sharing life's simple joys with the person who had been her reason to keep moving when the world seemed to close its doors. She brushed a curl from Lily's forehead and whispered, "Thank you, my brave girl." The child stirred but did not wake. Emma turned off the light and stood by the window, looking out at the glowing city. The future no longer felt like a distant hope. It felt present, warm, and possible because love and laughter had led her here. The soft days of early spring turned to the gentle warmth of summer, and Emma Johnson's life began to feel like a garden finally in bloom. Each morning the city greeted her with the hum of trains and the sparkle of sunlight on glass, and each evening she returned to the little apartment where Lily's laughter filled every corner. The rhythm of work and home had become something steady and beautiful, a melody she had once only dreamed of hearing. At Williams & Hart Design, Emma's confidence grew. The music school project that had begun as a single idea on her sketchpad was now a living identity: bright posters, clever signs, and a playful new logo that captured the movement of sound. When the client visited to see the finished work, they clapped their hands with delight. "This is exactly what we hoped for," the director of the music school said. "It feels alive." Emma stood beside Paul and Karen, her heart beating with quiet pride. She thought of the long nights spent sketching while Lily slept, of the patient guidance Karen offered, of the first nervous day when she set Lily's card on her desk. Now the project was complete, and her design would greet families, students, and musicians for years to come. Mr. Williams stepped forward with a rare smile. "Emma, your vision brought this to life." "Thank you." The words settled around her like warm sunlight. For so long she had doubted herself, wondering if she still belonged in the world of design after months of setbacks. Now she knew, she did belong. One Friday evening, the team invited Emma to a rooftop gathering to celebrate the project's success. The city stretched out in glowing colors below, soft pink sky fading to deep blue, tiny lights flickering in the distance. Emma leaned against the railing, feeling the breeze lift her hair. Karen joined her with 2 glasses of sparkling water. "You look happy," Karen said. "I am," Emma admitted. "For the first time in a long while." Karen smiled. "You should be. You've done more than great work, you've given all of us a reminder of why we love what we do." Emma thought of that first day again, of Lily's unexpected giggles echoing through the office. "I think my daughter gave me that reminder first," she said. At home, Lily was also changing and growing. She loved to help Mrs. Green water the potted plants in the hallway, and she began to draw little fashion shows with colorful outfits for the paper dolls she cut out herself. One evening, she showed Emma a picture of a house with wide windows and a garden full of flowers. "Someday we'll have a house like this," Lily said seriously. "With a yard so we can plant sunflowers." Emma hugged her daughter tightly. "That sounds wonderful," she said. And for the first time, it didn't feel like a far-off dream. With steady work, she had started a small savings account. It was not large, but it was a beginning. Every paycheck she put a little aside, imagining a future where she and Lily could have a space with more light, a small patch of earth, and maybe a dog. One Saturday morning, Emma and Lily joined a neighborhood art fair. Booths lined the street, filled with handmade jewelry, paintings, and bright fabrics. Music floated through the warm air. Lily held Emma's hand, eyes wide with wonder. "Look, Mama," she said, pointing to a table where children painted on tiny canvases. Emma laughed and led her over. "Would you like to try?" Soon Lily was leaning over a square of canvas, painting a giant yellow sun with bold, sure strokes. Emma watched her daughter's concentration, the way she held the brush without fear, and felt a quiet spark of recognition. "You have an artist's heart," Emma said softly. When Lily finished, The volunteer at the booth admired the bright picture. "You might be a painter one day," she said. Lily grinned. "Like my mama," she replied. Emma blinked back sudden tears. For all the struggles and the long nights, Lily had always seen her as someone strong and capable. That simple faith had carried them both. Weeks passed, filled with small joys. Emma helped design a new community center logo, and her work began to appear on posters around the city. Neighbors would nod to her in the hallway, sometimes mentioning they had seen her designs. Mrs. Green remained a steady friend, often inviting them for tea or sharing a plate of fresh-baked cookies. One evening she said, "You know, Emma, it's a pleasure to watch you and Lily. You two light up this building." Emma smiled, grateful for the kindness. "We're lucky to have you, too." The older woman patted her hand. "Not luck, dear. Love. That's what makes everything grow." One late afternoon, Emma stayed at the office to finish a final layout. The city outside glowed with the golden light of sunset. As she worked, her phone buzzed a video call from Lily. Emma answered, smiling at her daughter's excited face. "Hi, sweetheart. Guess what, Mama?" Lily said, her voice bubbling with joy. "Mrs. Green taught me how to make muffins. I saved you one." Emma laughed, her heart swelling. "That's the best surprise. I'll be home soon." When she ended the call, she sat for a moment in the quiet office, the warmth of her daughter's love filling her chest. She realized that her journey, the lost job, the difficult interview, the long days of doubt had brought her to this exact moment, where work and home balanced like two gentle notes in a perfect chord. The next week brought another unexpected moment. Mr. Williams called Emma into his office. "I want to talk about your future here," he said. His tone was calm but kind. "Your work has impressed everyone. We'd like you to lead a new project, a city-wide art campaign that celebrates families and community. It's ambitious, but I believe you're the right person." Emma felt a surge of both excitement and humility. "Thank you," she said softly. "I'd love to do it." As she left the office, she thought of how only months ago she had worried about paying rent. Now she was trusted with a project that could bring art to thousands of people. That evening she told Lily the news. The little girl's eyes shone. "Does that mean more pictures in the city?" "It does," Emma said. "Maybe even a big mural." Lily clapped her hands. "Can I help paint?" Emma laughed. "You can help with the first sketch." Summer continued with bright days and cool evenings. Emma and Lily visited parks, rode the ferry across the river, and sometimes simply sat by their window watching the city lights. Each moment carried the quiet happiness of a life rebuilt with care. One night, as they watched the moon rise, Lily rested her head on Emma's shoulder. "Mama, are we happy now?" she asked. Emma kissed her daughter's hair. "Yes, my love," she whispered. "We're happy." Lily yawned. "Because we have each other." "Because we have each other," Emma echoed. She thought of the interview months before, the day when Lily's giggles had changed everything. That sound so small, so bright had opened a door to a life she now lived fully. It was proof that even in the hardest times, joy could guide the way. Later that week, Emma and Lily visited the music school whose branding she had created. The new signs and posters shone in the late afternoon sun. Children ran in and out with violins and sheet music. Emma pointed to the bright logo above the entrance. "Look, Lily," she said. "That's Mama's design." Lily's eyes widened. "It's beautiful." A teacher passing by overheard and smiled. "Are you the designer? We love it. It makes everyone happy when they walk in." Emma felt a gentle pride, but even more, she felt gratitude for the chance, for the kindness of strangers, for the unexpected power of a child's laughter. As they walked home, Lily skipped along the sidewalk, humming a tune she had heard at the school. Emma matched her steps, the city glowing around them. The future was still full of unknowns, but now it looked bright, like a path painted with light. Emma knew there would still be challenges, bills to pay, projects to finish, ordinary days of tiredness, but she also knew they could meet them together. They had already proven that love, courage, and a single moment of unexpected joy could change everything. Holding her daughter's small hand, Emma felt the truth settle deep in her heart: they were not just surviving anymore. They were building a life filled with hope, creativity, and laughter. And with each step, that bright road ahead seemed to sing.